Well, hello, everybody, and welcome to Reed's Read Spider Man Crawl Space Edition. Check us out at the SpiderManCrawlspace.com. Of course, I am your host, Ryan Reed, and thank you for joining us today as we review Ultimate Spider Man number 12, the big holiday issue here. So I made sure I put on all my, of course, festive gear here on how it is. So here we are, everybody. We're ready to celebrate everything here on the review, of course, for Ultimate Spider-Man 12. 1 year. Can you believe it's been 12 months since issue one hit it and just made all of us Spider-Man fans just absolutely could not believe this amazing thing here by Jonathan Hickman and Dan Tichetto. So how do they wrap this all up to end the first year on a note that makes us want to come back for year two? So let's of course get into that and actually explain is there pretty much what do we have for Ultimate Spider-Man number 12 here, the big holiday issue. Well, everybody, I think it's pretty simple. We talk about, of course, the pros. So let's get into that. So number one is I really like the holiday theme on this. This worked really, really well. I just like the fact the Christmas issue, when everything happened, Thanksgiving had just ended and they were just getting ready for the big memorial scene. And I really like how they worked onto this very well to that on Ultimate Spider-Man. I just love the fact that we got the Watson family here. So we've got Gail, we've got Marilyn, we've got Aunt Anna. I mean, we've got the whole Mary Jane family. The one thing that's been going a lot on into the series for a number of years is there's been so much focus on the Parkers, Aunt May and Uncle Ben. Mary Jane is kind of good. We've talked about her cousin Christine, who was a big part of course, Spider Girl here, but we don't really get a lot of that family interest on the Watson family. I do like that they have such a prevalence in this issue, but it doesn't get away with the rest of them. I mean, we got everything good here. I really like the scenes, especially with Richard talking to Jonah and Uncle Ben about the family. The fact we actually get a nice interaction here with Mary Jane's mother. And it's very interesting in the Ultimate Universe. In the original universe, as we know, um, Mary Jane's father walked out on them, normal stuff. It's been a huge canon for a number of years. One of my little fan fictions is I had it where he came back into her life years later to try to, make up for everything on that too. So it's interesting the fact she's been a widow 3 times. That includes Mary Jane and Gail's father, apparently 2 other husbands, and the fact that Marilyn's been trapped in the world. And it's really interesting to see that because we see a lot of Mary Jane in there, and it's also very interesting too when we have come into it, her sister. They've been estranged for a number of years. I really like the drama that unfolds between the two about how she feels that um, Peter, married underneath her, which is something which is a very interesting reversal of a lot of some people had always said, "Oh, Peter married a supermodel," and here in this case, people have never really looked at Mary Jane and how other people would look at her like, "Hey, you married the average guy who's a website and newsman. I mean, come on, look at who you are. You're Mary Jane freaking Watson. You should be doing it." I really like the fact about how the estrangement and actually what it is, how Gail kind of wanted, and also how she feels like she really cemented it with, of course, May and Richard being born. And I really like this is the very first time we actually see Jonah and Richard really working well together. I love the relationship because he never really thought much about Jonah, but the fact that Richard has such a love of books, how he's fast reader and everything, and I really like how they're getting. This is just a really great thing here, especially the fake it you made about it and about saying about it was a pretty helpful book. I just love this. I thought Rich had a great relationship with Uncle Ben, but I'm loving what's developing here. I also like the drama finally found out that Gail's husband Douglas had been cheating on her for a number of years. That now she really felt bad. As much as Mary Jane wanted an apology from her, she gets really in there fighting about everything. And I do like the fact she's actually there for her sister, and it's really a nice little piece on that for what it works on. However, there's not thing there is a little bit of cons with this issue. So going into the cons here, something we know from way get go is that there's something coming up because, like I said, May is playing with Mary Jane's phone, doing her own version of Candy Crush or it looks like a Toy Crush, and she keeps getting things with Gwen, Gwen Stacy, aka Gwen Osborne, and they keep going to where it's kind of ignore, send the voice message, and it keeps going. Something bad is going to come up here because of the way it is. And it's really interesting when we get that, when they finally take the call that she explains that, Harry has been missing, you know, for days. And the fact that he's been missing up to 6 days says, I can't reach him. This parent, so we're kind of seeing the time lapse between them between it was after Thanksgiving and here for Christmas. So somewhere between the car and some of the areas to it, somewhere Peter and Harry disappeared, even though we see Peter right there. He disappeared just before Christmas. And another weird, of course, scary thing, of course, is too when we get the little pieces on that too. But also we get a little to interesting drama here between the two Watson sisters. I mean, one thing is we've always been focused on Aunt Anna and the main universe and other books. We've never really got to see a sisterly things between Marilyn and Anna. And I really like how the two of them come across, even her saying, hey, maybe Richard's single, maybe Jonah's single. And then she's like, oh, how can you do that? Hey, you know what? I'm staying out. Let's get there. It's the old Watson sisters. It's really interesting, but we're kind of seeing that kind of a new setup with the family drama coming over. And the weird thing is also the drama is how we get that thrown in here, especially when it gets revealed. We've been seeing Peter the whole time, but we've been noticing the entire time something's not right with Peter. He almost never takes. He's grabbing a hot pan. This is a very Stargirl. Find out Icicle, is Cameron's father from the Stargirl TV series, and the fact that she finally grabs him and of course finds out it's the Picotet that's basically made a clone copy of him to kind of bend him on that. Merry Christmas is just eerie. But the fact is that Peter and Harry have been missing for 6 days. Why did Mary Jane never really notice until now? And I don't want to kind of get in the tech here, but it's a very interesting kind of bringing the Venom symbiote and the clone saga together, as well as the fact that Tony Stark really didn't know how the Picotet. Another thing that's a little bit of a con too is not just about how they say about everything occur, but of course where we get the little part on that too, with of course everything with Craven the Hunter and the fact that he knows who Peter and Harry are, and the question is how much does he share that? And that is really just not given very much to about what that story is. I think we really need to go into, but I kind of have to echo the thought processes here for the whole final scenes, the dinner party, everything. The fact that Ben says this has been to a wonderful year instead of a crazy year, and it's really, really well done. I'm looking for the next year. I really got to give this an A. It is just a very, very good storyline, and I really enjoyed it. It's not an A plus because, like I said, with the thing, Peter, and of course doing the cliffhanger here as we get ready for hops on everything else. But otherwise, I really just cannot argue. This was a really, really solid issue. And I am so, so glad that we had this for it. And you know what? I don't have much to say here to everybody here. I am really hoping everybody has a wonderful holiday season, no matter if you celebrate the holidays or not. I'm hoping everybody has a wonderful time. And of course, I'll be back a little over a week after I celebrate the holidays myself to, of course, review the next issue of Spider Man. It's my last review for 2024. And I want to thank everybody who is supported and thought here for everything here. And I definitely, if you like what you see, definitely like and subscribe. And I hope you all have a wonderful holiday season, no matter what you celebrate or do not celebrate. And thank you so much for your support for the entire 2024 year. I'll bring back a little bit more on my last review for the year. On that note, everybody, I think I will see everybody later.